Hi students, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to discuss two programs which are using while loop. The first one is Fibonacci series and second one is factorial program. So we can start with Fibonacci series. So you can see 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. This series is known as Fibonacci series. So if you notice, you can understand the next number will be the sum of the previous two numbers. That is the next number. If you take this one, see this one is the sum of the previous two, which are 0 and 1. The sum of 0 and 1 is this one. So that's how we got this one. Okay. When we consider this two we will get by adding the previous two numbers, which are these two. Okay. So after adding this 1 and this 1, we will get 2. Similarly for 3 and 5, let the like this only, we will add the previous two numbers and we get the next number. Okay. So when we consider the next number after 3 and 5, we will get 5 plus 3 will be 8, isn't it? Then 8 plus 5 will be 13. So like that, this series will be increased. Okay. So we are going to write program to print this Fibonacci series. This is known as Fibonacci series. So the first two numbers we can print directly. Directly printing means using the print function SOP1. See, using this print function we will print the first two numbers. Okay. So here will be 0 and here will be 1. Okay. So the first two numbers we can print directly by using a print function. Then the logic will be applied for the remaining series. Okay. So once again the logic will be applied to print the remaining series, which is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. Okay. So the logic means we will use a while loop. In the question it is given that we have to use while loop. So using while loop we will print the remaining numbers. So we can check how. So if we write the program, it will be like this. See. Okay. So we can create the class. Let it be class A. Okay. Then public static void main. Okay. Then we can have some variables to store some values. First we can declare two variables to store the first two numbers. So any variables you can declare as you wish. See, here I am going to declare n1 and n2. n1 will store the value 0 and n2 will store the value 1. So by using a print function we can print values of n1 and n2, which will print 0, the first two numbers. We can print it directly. So we can print system.out.print. Here we are using print. So only one print function is enough to print these two. Print n1, then after a space we will print n2. Then we will print one more space. So after executing this line, it will print the first two, which are 0 and 1. Then we need to find out the next number. So we can have a variable to store that value. Let it be sum or num or next also. That according to your wish. Here I am declaring the variable sum with the value n1 plus n2. So which value will be stored in the variable sum initially? The sum of n1 and n2. The values of n1 and n2 are 0 and 1. Sum of 0 and 1 is 1 only. That 1 will be stored in the variable sum. Okay. It's clear. 1 will be stored in the variable sum. Then we can open the while loop to print the remaining series. Okay. So the loop will be like this, while. So how can we write the condition? See, in the question it is given that we have to print Fibonacci series between 1 and 100. Okay. So it's already said in the question. So we have to write the condition according to the range. Okay. Here we can understand between 1 and 100 we need to print the Fibonacci series. So we can say this 100 is the range. This 100 is the range, means the last number. Suppose in this series 99 is the last number. This 99 should not go above 100. That is meant by 1 and 100. So I just taken an example, 99 may not be there. So the last number should be less than 100. That is meant by Fibonacci series between 1 and 100. I hope you could understand. Okay, then like that we are going to write the condition. So the condition will be like this: sum less than or equal to 100. So what will happen? So when the value of sum goes after 100, this condition becomes true. So initially we can check what will happen. Initial value of sum is 1. So this condition will be like this: 1 less than or equal to 100. This condition will be true. Okay. So next time value of sum will be vary. So when the value of sum reaches 99, at that time also this condition becomes true, isn't it? Okay. When the value of sum reaches after 100, let it be 1 or any value, this condition becomes false. So loop will stop. That's why we have written sum less than or equal to 100, that condition. Okay. Then when this condition is true, we can print the value of sum with a space. Okay. Then what we find out now, we have printed n1 and n2, which means these two values. Then we have added n1 and n2. That value is stored in the variable sum. Okay, which means in sum we got the value 1, but that is the next number in the series. Okay, so then entering to the while loop, then checking the condition 1 less than or equal to 100, that is true. Then we are printing the value of sum, which is 1. Then this 1 also we printed. So up to this 1 we got the series. Okay, then we need to write the step for the remaining number, which is 2. So if you notice, you can understand, for this 2 we need to consider the previous two numbers, which are these two ones. Okay, so now the current values of n1 and n2 are 0 and 1, that have not changed. We need to change it to the previous two numbers. So now we are going to find out this 2. So for this 2, the previous two numbers are this 1 and this 1. Okay, so we need to store this 1 in n1 and this 1 in n2. So if you notice already, n1 has the value 0 and n2 has the value 1. So what we can do, we can store value of n2 to n1 and value of sum to n2. Okay, if you notice, you can see value of sum is 1, which means this 1. So the value of sum we can store in the variable n2. Okay, to get this 2. So how can we write the statement? First we can change n1 equal to n2. Okay, then n2 equal to sum. Then in the loop we need to write the statement to find the next number, sum equal to, which is sum equal to n1 plus n2. Okay, so this is how we can find the next number, which is sum n1 plus n2. So if you notice, you can see value of n1 has changed to 1 and value of n2 is also 1. Okay, so value of n1 is 1 and value of n2 now is 1. So 1 plus 1 we will get 2 in variable sum. So now value of sum is 2. Okay, so we got the sum. So this loop will be iterated till the condition becomes false. So here the program over. So we are closing the brace for main method, and finally we will close the brace for class. So after executing this loop completely, we will get the Fibonacci series till 100. Okay, so we can just execute this program on compiler. So students, this is the program, you can see. So we created the class and we created the main method. Then see, here you can see three variables. See, n1, n2 and sum. Value of n1 is 0 and n2 is 1 initially. Then we will find the sum according to the values of n1 and n2. Then using a print function, we are printing values of n1 and n2. So what we will get? So this line will print 0 and 1 initially. Then executing the while loop, Then checking the condition sum less than or equal to 100. Initial value of sum is 1. Okay, so this condition becomes true for the first iteration. Then printing the current value of sum, which is 1. So that has printed. Okay, then we are changing values of n1 and n2. So value of n2 will be copied to n1. What is the value of n2? Which is 1. Value of n2 now is 1 and value of n1 is 0. So we are copying value of n2 to n1. So this value will be copied in the variable n1. So n1. Then value of sum will be copied to n2. Value of sum is 1. That one is in n2 now. Then sum we will find out by adding current values of n1 and n2, which will be 2, as you can see. Okay. Then statements over. Again iterating. Value of sum will be 2 now. That 2 is less than 100. So that condition is true. Then executing the loop second time. So printing current value of sum, which is 2. Okay. Then changing values again. Value of n2 will be copied to n1. What is the value of n2? Which is 1. That one will be in n1. Then value of sum will be copied to n2. What is value of sum? 2. This value will be in n2. Okay. Okay, then next statement, sum equal to n1 plus n2, which means 2 plus 1 will be 3. That 3 in the variable sum. Okay. Then statements over. Again iterating. Checking the condition 3 less than or equal to 100. That is true again. So we can print value of sum. So what it will print? 3. So 3 will be printed. Okay. So what is the actual series? 0, 1, 1, then 2, then this 3. Okay. Up to this we got. Then after printing value of num, we will change values of n1 and n2 again. Value of n1 will be value of n2. So what is the value of n2? 2. That 2 will be copied to n1. Then value of sum will be copied to n2. Value of sum is 3. That will be in the variable n2. Then n1 plus n2. We are adding 3 and 2 and 5 will be copied to sum. So we got 5 in the variable sum. Then statements over again iterating. So this will be continued till where? Till when condition becomes false. When the value of sum goes above 100, condition becomes false and coming out of the loop and program execution will be stopped. So at that time, what will be the output? The output will be the Fibonacci series till 100. Okay, so we can just execute this program. Okay, see, we are getting 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 like that up to 89. So if you notice, you can understand by adding 89 and 55, we are getting a number which is more than 100. So that's why condition becomes wrong, isn't it? Okay, so this is how we can print Fibonacci series till 100. Then we can discuss the next program, factorial of a given number using while loop. So actually what is factorial? So then see, 4 factorial. How to find 4 factorial? We can write it in two ways, either 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. We can also write like this, 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So this is known as factorial of a number. How to find 3 factorial, which is 1 into 2 into 3. So this is known as factorial. So it is clear that we can start value of control variable from 1 till the number. Okay. Then what will be the body of the loop? We can multiply value of I, okay, in each iteration. That's how we can do this program. So if we write the program, it will be like this. See, we are creating the class. Let it be A. Then declaring main method. Then we can declare the control variable I. Okay. We can initialize with 1. So from 1 till the number it must go. So what is the question? Factorial of a given number. So this given number means this number we need to get from the user. So either you can use scanner class or you can declare that variable as the parameter. So here we are going to declare as parameter int n. Okay, so 4 factorial or 3 factorial or anything, it may be anything, that 4 or 3 will be the value of n. Okay, that may be anything. So value of I should start from 1 till n. Okay, so that's how we have to write the condition. So we can start the while loop. So in while loop we need to add values of, we need to multiply values of I. So we can have a variable of int type, int product or something like that. So here we are going to declare pro, int pro equal to 1. Then condition while I less than or equal to n. Okay, so why we are written this condition? In order to increment the value of I till n. Okay, then when this condition is true, we can multiply values of I. Okay, and that value can be stored in the variable pro. So we can write the statement pro equal to pro into I. Okay, then we can update I. So this is the statements to print factorial of a number. So after executing this loop completely, we will get a value, which means the factorial of the given number will be stored in the variable pro. So last we can print the value of pro as the factorial of the given number. System.out.println factorial of given number n. Factorial of given number n is pro. Okay, so we can just execute this program on compiler. Students, this is the program to print factorial of a number. Okay, so see here, you can see we have declared the n as the parameter of main method. Then int I equal to 1, which is the statement to initialize the control variable, which is I. Then we can have another variable which is pro, that we initialized with the 1. So then we need to execute this while loop n times. Okay, then only we can multiply values of I n times, isn't it? So see, what is the body of the loop? Pro equal to pro into I. In each iteration of the loop, value of I varies from 1 to n. So in each iteration, value of I will be multiplied with the pro, and that result will be stored in the variable pro only. Then we are incrementing value of I. Then after executing this loop completely, which means n times, the variable pro will get the value which is factorial of n. Okay, then at last, after executing loop completely, we will print value of pro. So we can just execute this program. So we are going to give the value 5. Okay, so what it should print? It should print 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, or we can say 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So according to our program, it is performing 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So value of I varies from 1 to 5. So it is printing factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, I hope you could understand. See, if we initialize the variable pro with 0, what will happen? After completing the loop, the variable pro will have the value 0 only. So in order to avoid that kind of logical error, we are assigning, or we are initializing the value of pro with 1. Okay.